Hey, what's going on, you guys? Joss out here in Singapore, and as always, thank you so much for joining me on this Night Owl podcast. Now, I do so love going through these ideas, talking about conversations I've had, relating scenes that I saw in a movie that really, gosh, made me stop and really consider my own life and how I could maybe apply the information because it gives me another perspective to work from. So if you're new to the podcast or if you've been here for a while, thank you once again for listening in. And you know what? I'm going to jump right back into this list of how we avoid our own healing because I think the post by Create the Love was really such a paradigm shift. It made me hold the mirror up to myself and see where I could be doing some of these things still, or maybe where I've done them before, and maybe how I could prevent myself from doing the same thing over and over again. So in the last few episodes, we've talked about dating projects, talked about taking responsibility for other people's feelings, possibly obsessing about how people messed us up and, did us wrong, were disloyal, or caused harm and pain in our own lives. We've talked about reading and researching and attending seminars and buying information only to keep it very carefully somewhere and not really apply them to our lives because we think that having the information automatically solves a problem, where, if we were actually very honest with ourselves, having the information is half of it. Applying the information to see if it fits or works at all is the other half of that situation. We also talked about the idea of falling in love with the potential of somebody and then completely missing the red flags because we're so enamored by that person. Maybe this is the first time we've met anybody quite like this person and we're not ready to test the situation because we don't want to start over again. What if it doesn't work? We're so afraid that it won't work, or that person won't stick around if we draw a boundary or tell them something that's a little bit more vulnerable about us. So we tend to miss the red flags, and because we haven't set the boundary when the flag appeared, it suddenly becomes behavior that we've encouraged, and it becomes harder to actually set the boundary after the fact. We've avoided the chance to heal ourselves by letting them know what works and what doesn't work because we're so in love with the idea of how much they might be able to fulfill their potential while they're with us, right? They have the potential to be our husband. They have the potential to be a soulmate or a twin flame, whatever the case may be. Now, the next one on this list is how we're trying to constantly change or fix the people around us that we miss the idea of actually healing ourselves. Now, I used to think that you can't heal yourself in the same toxic place where you hurt yourself in the first place. And I still do feel that way, but I also know now from experience that I don't have the chance to fix it, as in to try something different, if I'm not in a relationship as well. So perhaps in my last relationship, what I used to do is run behind the other person and check behind them to see if they're cheating. What are they doing? Who are they talking to? Oh my gosh, check their phone, check their timing, check everything to make sure that they're not cheating on me because I was completely paranoid. But by running around and making sure that they are the perfect partner, I'm not allowing myself the chance to grow and become a better partner than I currently am either. So what I found is I can't fix it in that relationship, but I can try to fix it in the next one. I can try to work on my paranoia. I can try to dig into my shadows a little bit and try and figure out what it is that I'm so worried about. How do I fix that for myself? Because of course, yes, there will always be situations that are reminiscent of other moments in my life where I felt panic or felt worry or felt depressed for some reason because somebody did something to me. But I can't put all of that on the new relationship. That's not fair. I can't throw all of my baggage on them. I can tell them what I've been through. I can hope that they understand and take into consideration my experience, but I still have to do my own healing. So I can't project that paranoia, right? I can't project that idea that, oh, you're going to do exactly what everyone else has done. You're just like everybody else, because that's not fair. Because then I've decided for them who they are and what their behavior is going to be like, and I'm not allowing them the chance to prove me wrong, to give me a new experience that overrides my old experience. So here's what I'm going to explain to you. Okay? So I could try very hard to change my partner now and tell them that they're not good enough, or tell them that they can't do certain things because it's a trigger to me, or I could actually focus on what it is that's triggering to me and see if I can't heal it for myself. So let's say my whole paranoia is about infidelity because I've been cheated on many times before, because I actually have. And now I get this overwhelming jealousy in certain situations, or I have the need to go and look for proof that you are actually dealing with other people. But if that's what I'm going to focus on, how to fix you and how to prove that you're exactly like everybody else, I'm not giving myself the chance to heal. So what I've done instead is, when that feeling pops up, I ask myself in that moment, well, what am I so jealous of? What am I saying to myself that the other person has that I don't? Because Chances are I don't even know the other person, I'm guessing. But to admit defeat to somebody I don't even know, that's silly of me. I need to remind myself of what I'm capable of. And I need to be okay with the idea that, okay, if this person leaves me, that's for their own reasons. It's not because of anything I did. It's not because I am not good enough. It may just be that they don't feel like I'm a good enough fit. And that might sound like arrogance to you. But what I'm trying to teach you is in the fit of jealousy that I might be having, I need to control myself so I don't become this overbearing person that nags all the time, that checks behind you all the time. Because who wants to date somebody who's completely suspicious at all times, right? That takes up a lot of energy, and all of our communications would be about how you're proving to me that you're good enough. And that's not actually healthy for the situation. So I need to be able to look at my jealousy. I need to admit that I'm jealous. I need to admit that I am insecure. But more than that, I need to look into why am I insecure? What is it that I think that I lack, that I feel like is necessary for the situation? Who told me that that was necessary? Is that something that came from the relationship, or is it something that I'm dreaming up because that's my ideal, that's my expectation of myself? A lot of times it's difficult to understand where it is that you could be missing the healing, where it is that you might be avoiding shadow work, because that's not something we talk about very often. But I found that it's very, very cathartic and freeing to be able to discuss some of these ugly emotions that we have that we don't want to admit to anybody. Because if someone were to say, "Are you jealous?" you'd be like, "Oh, no, why would I be jealous?" That arrogance would immediately come out and cover up the fact that, yeah, I do feel insecure. I do feel jealous in this situation. I don't feel like I'm good enough. And so, yes, in my mind, I'm comparing myself to whoever it is that you mentioned. But more than that, what do I really know about the person that they mentioned? What do I really know about what that other person could possibly provide my partner versus what I can provide them? I need to be confident in the fact that I'm trying to do the best that I can. And if I'm not good enough, that I will be all right if you choose to walk away. But in the meantime, I'm not going to change my level of customer satisfaction or customer service. I'm not going to change the way that I love you because I'm afraid of whether you might leave or not, because that changes things. That makes it a different problem. Now I'm adjusting my behavior based on my fear, which is not healthy for you, and it's definitely not healthy for me. I'm regressing into old habits that aren't actually productive. So in that regard, when you focus on changing somebody else to suit your needs, you're not actually helping yourself. You're avoiding places where you could be healing yourself. And I hope that makes sense. So if you have any questions or concerns, please drop me a line. Let me know what you think. But this is just me from my own experience, what I think that I could have been doing differently, how I think that I needed to strengthen my own self-confidence. Because I don't know if you realize, when we get into a relationship with people, when we first get there, we feel really great about ourselves because they chose us. But as time goes on and things happen and experiences unfold, we tend to wonder if we're really good enough fit or not. And if we're not, who might be better than we are to take their place? And it may not be a situation where it's better or worse. It may just be that I'm not a good fit because of the things that you've been through. Maybe the way I do things and the way I communicate about them aren't great. But if I don't try to find a better way to communicate, I'm actually giving myself the chance to heal, right? So instead of focusing on the other person, as always, try to focus on yourself. Try to look within, try to find out where you could strengthen yourself instead of giving away power like we so often do, saying that, oh, I'm not good enough, or you're not good enough, so you need to change so that I can feel more comfortable. Okay, so I'm hoping that makes sense to you guys. I believe that in a partnership, both people are pushing each other to heal, to move forward, to become more productive, more resilient, more resourceful, more confident in themselves, because we are empowering each other to become our best versions. So as always, you guys, take very good care of each other. Take even better care of yourself. And if you have any questions, you know where I am. I'll catch you again on the next episode. Thanks.